Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Robin Ohannessian. I'm today with Arby Leonian. He's the co-founder and CEO of Thermaiscan. And I'm very glad to host him today in this discussion on health innovation and to know more and learn more about this great company. So, Arby, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Robin. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Let's just start and go through our different topics today. So first of all, could you please explain what is Thermaiscan and what is the company doing?
Absolutely. So Thermaiscan is a life science startup specializing in AI, thermal technology in smartphones, and breast cancer. I think the inception was around the end of 2018, early 2019 of the concept and company. And since then, we have developed a breast cancer pre-screening solution. So just to inform, today there are some commercially available smartphones that have a small sensor inside the smartphone that basically captures a thermal image. And the AI we have developed, we combine the AI with that sensor to enable breast cancer pre-screenings in first line of healthcare for, as a non-specialist with this tool, I can start to triage and help the basically identifying the risk patients to meet specialists because, this is one of the biggest problems when it comes to breast cancer. It's not enough screening tools in first line of access healthcare, and a lot of women die because of late detection.
That's a very great challenge that you are tackling. Indeed, the cancer screening overall is a main issue. Both in high-income countries and low and middle-income countries, because it needs organized structure, processes, large patient and population information, and possibility as well to refer patients and then diagnose them and treat them later on. And as you said, the technology and the process and the workforce to provide this screening solution are usually not sufficient to cover the need, and we end up with late stage cancer detection with lower chances of survival. So tackling the late detection and trying to expand the coverage and access to early screening and detection of breast cancer with a portable solution and affordable, I think can be indeed a right way to push for this idea and try to leverage on new technology, digital health, telehealth, and AI relating to this field where there's been quite limited approach so far. Now, there is one issue. We are with this positioning in preventive care, in preventive domain, especially in cancer screening and in breast cancer screening. Now, these programs are usually run by government, Ministry of Health, public health authorities, or maybe local NGOs in agreement with the government. So as a company and as a startup that needs to grow and to find relevant customers, who would be your target customers and how do you approach this challenge for your startup company?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we decided early to target B2B units. It can be primary care, mini clinics, urban and rural healthcare workers. We don't want to give this solution to consumers to screen themselves at home, because what if someone gets a risk? And this is also about to get acceptance and adoption from the healthcare and regulators. It might be possible when thermal sensors exist in more smartphones to simply be integrated in telemedicine providers. But then basically the telemedicine provider basically rent the machine learning algorithm from us and then take care of the rest. Because if a patient gets a risk, then the patient is already in the healthcare system and they can be referred to specialists. But I believe how to find these, of course, we will do internal sales, but in partnerships like with Vickino or distribution channels will be key for us. Because these companies already have established networks and you can reach out to many actors right away. So I don't foresee like Thermaiscan be an application in iOS store or Google Play where whoever wants to download it can download. Still, we need to do some sort of KYC, know your customer, and validate that actually whoever is using our software is actually a healthcare unit and doing everything properly, screening according to protocol, and also taking care of the patients, whoever gets risk, so that they actually meet the specialist.
Okay, so mostly I would say the health authorities, public sectors, and healthcare providers who would be interested in um, expanding their current program and try to innovate in enlarging the access to the population with this. So this is a good challenge and always um, uh, something that can be achieved in partnership and collaboration, as you mentioned, with all the stakeholders, and that can difficultly be done directly as a B2C approach, because there are too many factors that needs to be organized for the patient, and giving it directly would represent as well some risk in that process.
Yeah, Dr. Robin, the more we work, we learn more stuff. We get to learn more use cases. For example, as you mentioned earlier in the call, screening programs, very important, but not all governments have the capacity for that. So we have a breast cancer specialist, Dr. Axel Gravingholt. We discussed this internally. It seems like for a screening program, at least in breast cancer, to make difference, it has to have 70% participation rate. In Sweden and Finland, we have 90%. If we go to Germany, we're about 50, 55. UK is the same. Singapore also have national screening program, but they have 30%. So when I was in Singapore meeting specialists from Changi General Hospital, they were telling me like, but Arby, you know what? We understand the use case of the pre-screening product to be in the hands of a non-specialist in primary care, but you know what? I want to use this in my specialist unit to get more additional data. It's like one more tool in my toolbox, and I also have situations where patients come to me, like this is the doctor, the specialist that's telling me, where the patient argue with me, they don't want to do the mammography. So I need a tool to convince them more than the tools what I have. Um, so I foresee this will be the journey for us. The more we engage with specialists, users, even patients, we learn more. Um, so I think that would be an interesting input from my side to share that.
Yes, you mentioned one very critical point related to breast cancer screening with mammography is the patient acceptance, and women acceptance usually is difficult in this area because the mammography can cause some pain for the woman. It's not very comfortable, and they have to go in a special place that is maybe not available everywhere near them. So finding tools that may bring women to come to the right approach and mindset could be, in fact, really helpful for the medical community to also better convince the population. Now, you mentioned at the beginning that you started this company with your co-founders a few years ago. Now we are in 2024. Can you tell us what you achieved so far, both in terms of company, in terms of technology, validation, and maybe some clinical data that you may already have?
Absolutely. So we started the R&D in Armenia in Erebuni Hospital, 2020 January. Okay, so this research is led by our co-founder, Dr. Nerses Berberian. Luckily, his responsibility has expanded to 3 units in Yerevan, and that also gives a good boost for our research. So I think at this point, we have screened more than 7,500 patients. So the value in the company, except for my opinion, the people that we have working with this, is the data. So all thermal images per patient have reference to mammography, potential ultrasound based on patient profile, and then biopsy and pathology report. This is for us to understand what actually type of tumors can our technology find with and without AI. Um, we developed IP based on that. We have defined regulatory strategy forward. Um, and 2023, after doing research for I think 34 months, we became confident like now is the time to do a proper clinical validation, not only to convince investors and partners, but also to understand is this product going the pathway we want, because everything started with the idea and then it took the step to like defining concept. And when we had the concept during 2019, we knew like, okay, now let's start to do research, because it's theory, we need to validate it. And we have basically taking it from step by step to have this product ready. So in 2023 we did retrospective clinical validation in 1 unit in Erebuni Hospital in Yerevan, and we achieved 89% sensitivity and 83% specificity compared to mammography. So I'm emphasizing again, our research, everything is benchmarking towards mammography and then potential ultrasound. But otherwise, machine learning team has been in Armenia, loves AI. They're also co-founders of our team, and I'm super happy. I'm proud also to be working with Armenians, because that has been one of my dreams when I was a kid, to do something with Armenians. And this year, we started a prospective clinical validation that we will announce coming weeks. And this is in 3 units, Vigmore, Bartanans, and Erebuni. And this once again led by Dr. Nerses Berberian and his radiologist teams that also have supported us a lot in our research. Um, Otherwise, we see a lot of interest from especially low and middle income countries, India, Southeast Asian countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore opens up that pathway. I get emails from African countries, South America. So there is a big interest. So basically, we have a product working now. Now we need to validate the product on different type of population, especially screening groups. So that's why we want to raise funding to start the studies in India and Singapore to begin with. But also I mean, I'm Swedish, okay, originally, so I want to do in our home field also, because there is a need in Sweden, even though we have a screening program. So as an AI company, I believe one of the key things will be for us to do studies in different countries to mix the database to get away from biased AI, because now everything is done in Armenia, and our research from inception is biased. But according to our doctors, human body works estimated the same when it comes to breast cancer. So we don't expect any big changes, but we can't assume. We need to do proper studies. So I'm looking forward to be reaching the day where we can proudly say we have trained this machine learning algorithms with different type of data set coming from different countries, different type of ages, dense breast tissue and not dense breast tissue, because that's also a problem regarding mammography. The younger patients, younger than 40, and those that have dense breast tissue, they're not even good candidates to do mammography. Actually, mammography was created in Sweden, so we are very proud of it. But strangely, not much have happened when it comes to breast screening. It's like we're happy with mammography and ultrasound. Meanwhile, if we talk about cervical cancer, already now there is home test kits to measure different type of like virus, etc., to indicate that something is happening. So I also hope this will come to breast cancer. But if we talk about future, now I'm not competent in medicine, but I work with specialists, especially in breast cancer, and they believe that at least in developed countries, the first step will be blood test and thermal together. The blood test to indicate on hormone level that something is happening inside of the body, and then the thermal to help out with like identifying where some suspicious activity can be. Because in the end of the day, thermal technology with AI can find potential traces of tumor development. Basically, the heat, the energy, and blood vessel creation that the tumor is creating. This is what the thermal is being basically detecting, and AI is on pixel level helping out to help us humans to find where it is.
Okay, that's a great comparison. I think to visualize the progress made in the cervical cancer with HPV testing and self-testing at home that is now really available and slowly rolling out in different countries one by one. And actually the change from manual, visual testing, and then pathology, and compared with now virus testing. So it's more advanced technology, it's more easier, and so on and so on. And the breast cancer screening can also go on that path. There's been a lot of effort done in AI with the reading of the mammography in the past years, with now several successful companies that are providing this kind of automated readings. But about the screening before and the risk, there's been a more empty space. So I think it's a great niche to tackle and a good positioning as a startup. Additionally, you mentioned the need for clinical validation, and that's very interesting, because nowadays with this AI buzz we have in healthcare, and everyone trying to go very fast with that, we need to understand that what solution would be developed needs to follow the, let's say, classical scientific path of new diagnostic tests or preventive tests, with adapted clinical validation, research, and studies from different areas to be able to have a right benefit risk approach based on evidence. So that's you're there for the long run, and it's good to see that. Now you mentioned the need for a few studies that you are looking to conduct in the near future in different countries. So what would be the next step for Thermaiscan in semester 2, 24 and 25?
We are working hard to raise funds because, since 2019, we have bootstrapped, working with own funds. We received grants and we won prizes, which helped us a lot. So with very little funding, we have done a lot. So raising funds, we can even do bigger things. So basically, funding goes to regulatory compliance in the specific jurisdiction we are targeting, pay for clinical costs. Of course, we want to ramp up a machine learning and software team because we already now have identified more products, more IP, and ways to basically make the data processing and the screening itself more friction free. Um, so now basically everything hangs on fundraising, and then we are ready to take the next steps. But it looks like it will be in Asia, Southeast Asia. Thermal technology is not new there. They have been using it for some time. But then also going back to something I mentioned earlier, the governments and the healthcare there, they have more open mind towards innovation. In Sweden, we're famous to deliver um, good technology for in different industries, but we're not so good at implementing it here. We often go to this other side of the world, implement it there, validate, then come back. So I think that will be our journey also, if not even moving headquarters to some of these countries.
Great, a great road ahead, key milestones to reach, clinical, financial, and in terms of team growth. So I wish you all the best for the coming months. Thank you again for accepting to have this little chat together, and hope to see you soon. We'll see in which country. So
Absolutely. Thank you
thank you
for
very
this.
much.
Looking forward for the coming time working together.
Thank you. Bye bye.